Oh, you know. Well, first off, I wish to tell you why it's a good morning. The sky is blue, clouds breaking up. The trees are beautiful, green and lush, and our water's clean. Hey, does anybody think we can get some clean water over to our native cousins by chance? We should almost do a national, like, I don't know, I believe in writing letters. I believe in writing letters to public servants. Now, by law, they used to have to read your letter. God knows what they're up to now, because the corporate body politic doesn't seem to serve the nation, serve the people, serve this land. They only seem to serve their self-interest. So I get home, you know, I'm literally digging ditches here. We're redoing water lines in the trailer park. First we've got to find the old ones. Not excavate the gas lines and so on and so forth. But I get home and I didn't see this before, but I see Trudeau publicly blaming all of us, okay, me, for his racist, bigotry, psychopathic way of life. You're blaming Canadians for your indiscretions. You're blaming Canadians for your prejudices. And you're blaming Canadians for all your issues. Who, and all that is good, do you think you are? See, this is what I'm talking about. All these guys do are pit people against each other. Okay? We have a common goal, we have a common good, and that is to keep our nation in one piece, to actually be able to discuss the problems of the past and not hide them by badly written history books and taking down statues and listening to, people run around in mass destroying private property. Or I should just say property. Private property is kind of an oxymoron. I mean, property is that which is exclusive to you, and no other. So private property is just like, it's a silly statement. Oh, hey, listen. Just to give you a heads up, okay? If you're reading anything, that means in the future tense. ing is always a future tense. It always puts a word into the future tense, or puts the thought into the future tense. ed is a past tense. Now, if we didn't have such lazy schools, just running around acting like they're righteous, indignant co-parents of our property. You are not co-parents, okay? You are hirelings, right? Education, not sexual morality or immorality or amorality. So I'm watching Trudeau, and he's supposed to be making this apology, and he turns it on us. Well, Canadians are so, and this is why I did this, because Canadians discriminate. Canadians are racist. My God, man. Have you ever hung out on an Indian reserve? I have. And happily invited, too. When have you ever? Except for maybe as some public, so-called public servant figure to hand out some of the people's money to buy off a corporate chief and ignore their inherent chiefs. Trudeau, you're worse than a man-child. Man, you're not only do I believe you're a psychopath, but like you're double-minded. You have dual personality. I don't know how many personalities you have. It sure seems like you have more than one. So, Dirty Butts, write up that apology for you. Here's how we're going to do it. Justin, what we're going to do is we'll get you to apologize, but we'll twist it. We'll start twisting it easy at first, you know, and you got to make sure you look like you believe what you're saying, which you didn't. And you twist a little bit at first, and then we'll get full bore. Yeah, I'm fighting discrimination. I'm fighting racism. Meanwhile, you're calling our free press a bunch of Nazis. Who the hell do you think you are? I think the people of Canada have accredited Rebel News. And how dare you people, label that young man at Rebel News with being a racist and a fascist and a Nazi? How can you do that to this young man? He's honestly doing his best to be an investigative reporter. Now I know that the mainstream propaganda centers don't actually know how to investigate or properly report a story. I know they just they're just a bunch of talking heads. Wow, we got to end this. How dare you? How dare you blame the rest of us for your indiscretions? You POS. You POS. Wow. Wow. What a traitor. What a traitor. What a treasonous, psychopathic, double-minded traitor. How in God's name did we ever get this clown in? And he doesn't even have the humility to step down. And Butts is still on our payroll. Trudeau made sure of it. This is all wrong, guys. Wow. Wow. You know what? I hope the judiciary comes honestly with those folks that are doing the private prosecutions on you, Trudeau. I hope they do fine. Now, I'm listening to them, and they're like lambs to the slaughter. I hope they have a decent attorney that's not going to pretend to, just take everybody's money and pretend to fight for them and then throw them under the bus. Because I listen to these guys, and I don't think these guys could hold their own court. Wow. Wow. Hey, what about this grandmother you muscled? And we need to talk about the $40 billion LNG you gave over to slave labor and screwed the Canadian people on. Whoever gets in has to break that contract. That contract's illegal, okay? Okay? It's void. Void ab initio. On its face from the beginning. It's void. I want my 25 mil back from your buddies, the Clinton Foundation, that corrupt outfit. In fact, we want all our money back. I believe that your benefits from your trust fund should all go back to the people until you're paid up. Go get a job. Try and survive as one of our teachers that are forced to teach our children nothing. How not to critically think. How not to phonics words. How not to write. How not to express themselves with the pen. is not your country. This country belongs to the people. All of mankind of this land. When we invite newcomers to this land, it's supposed to be an honorable an honorable privilege that the people of this land have opened their arms for those who wish to come and bring their flavor and be Canadian. To embrace our culture and to spice our culture up with some of theirs over generations. Wow. Wow, blame us for your racist attitude. Oh my God. You know, how anybody can vote Liberal at this point, I'm just not sure. I really, and here's something that brings the Francos and the Anglos a little bit closer together. All right? He's blaming all of us. Okay, you happen to be Caucasian by nature, and we happen to be Caucasian by nature. So what are you going to do now, Trudeau? You see, now that you're blaming, white masculinity or just the white people in general, now that you've brought Quebecois closer to Anglo, because now we have a common insult to each and every one of us. What are you going to do next to go ahead and then divide us again, using our culture, the way of our people, using our customs, our enshrined Canadian customs that thrive in different areas of this land? I've never seen one native guy in any of you guys, like none of you guys. Who's the native guy running for the PPC? That pisses me off, Max, that we don't have, and I don't believe, like, I hear what you're saying, you don't get somebody to run, or you don't put somebody in a job, in cabinet, just because of the color of their skin, just because of their sex, or sexual orientation, or whatever. I understand that. But there's got to be some of our native cousins. Well, I sure hope our native cousins and our Métis cousins, I sure hope they vote. This whole thing about splitting the vote, the Conservative vote, no, I've talked to a number of Liberals that won't vote for Scheer but are going to vote for PPC. I've noticed that there's a number of NDP folks that won't vote for Scheer that are voting PPC. The media is doing everything they can to make sure that there's no proper coverage for Max. And I'm not really seeing much coverage from our free press either. Never mind the state-run organ. Yeah, you guys are an organ. You're an organ. You're all traitors. You sold us out, you bunch of hirelings. You sold us out, and you have no humility about it, and you don't even really try to hide it. You just sold the people that you're supposed to be the backwatcher for the people, and you just sold us out again. Wow. So it's your fault that Trudeau's a racist. It's your fault that Trudeau's a bigot. It's your fault that we're broke. It's your fault for not getting a PhD from university, and so you're not good enough to make any real decisions about this nation and how we operate. It's your fault we're considered a post-state and a UN puppet and about to be sold to the UN. It's your fault that 30% of Canada's property, this land that adjoins both freshwater and saltwater, is being given over to the UN. And will be taken from everybody. Any piece they want, they're going to come take. right? So you'll see on TV, the natives will be, putting up a blockade or a fuss. No, you're not taking our land, and then somehow this state-owned media will, they'll figure a way to get you just looking at them like they're separate from the rest of us. That's what they do. They separate people. Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely voting for Max. I would call on the independent media to give the guy a little more coverage. And nobody follow him around. No media going with the guy. I'm sure he must be tripping around the country. I see Scheer and all 6 people or 3 people, at Scheer's announcements. I couldn't watch things this morning. It's too bad about you, Sig. You're an articulate man. You're obviously no dummy. But you're a sellout. You're a sellout. You've sold out the working man. You're a UN sellout. You're just gonna, standing up and saying you're going to give the people back their own hard-earned money through corporate welfare to the car manufacturers, and you're going to give the people back their money via if you can afford one of these very expensive hybrid useless vehicles. You're a sellout, man. You're a sellout. These people are living the upper middle class dream on our dime, and we're not holding them to account. We need to pass laws. We need private members' bills. When Max gets in, we need private members' bills. We need the PPC to pass bills to keep the government in check. That gives us watchdogs. Okay, like I said, the ethics commissioner, it's a watchdog, but it has no teeth. We need to expand the powers on the ethics commissioner. The ethics commissioner should be voted in. So like I say, every 6 years. It should be a condomentary, like humble expense account and condomentary. All political wages should be condiment. They should be, somewhere kind of middle class. We, in our past, which used to be part of our culture before the communists took over, political positions were considered a part-time job. You did this position because of your love of your nation and your heart for the people of this nation. And now it's just hey, it's an easy living grab. Don't have to serve anybody. A promise made is not a debt unpaid anymore with the legal society. All wrong. Wrong. You make a promise, you should have to keep it. I think we should pass a law that says any political promise made has to be kept. Could you imagine? Well, somehow we, the people, have to come together. The only party I see worth even giving a chance is Max. Give Max a chance. After that, if he turns out to be like the rest of those sellouts, traitors, racist, bigot, man-childs, I was just letting that thing go. So whatever, Trudeau's a clown. He's always been a clown. Everybody knows that. But to come out and call me racist, you go to hell, mister. And I hope you go there in a handbasket. Hey, maybe you can go snuggle up to one of your puppet masters in the UN, that unelected body that is working so hard to lie about our environment, to lie about CO2, to take over a nation of people and our sovereignty. our sovereignty, our right to free speech, our right to property. Well, I just couldn't hold myself this morning, watching him blame us for his wrongdoing. Period. So, hey, these guys like that. If that's what you wish, to keep on voting Liberal, yay. So nobody really gives a shit. And it's not just us that those of this nation that believe in the people of this nation, those of us of this land that are against discrimination and man-child kings on this land, but it's pretty much anybody with common sense can see this. Boy, he must think we're stupid. Hey, I put the video up on my Facebook. Just like, he must think we're stupid. Oh yeah, you're stupid. You can't critically think. If I say this, you believe that. Oh yeah, and the media is going to push it now. Watch the media push it. Canada, discriminatory. Canada, racist. Canada, bigots. All those white people need to be shot. Privilege, privilege, privilege. Wow. Wow, man, are we that far down? Should we just all go on in our little Kias, fight for line in 20 below weather and Tim Hortons and be good slaves and hope for the best? Or just give up hope? I mean, because the end of the world is here, and we're all going to be dying, and the world's going to explode, and our children have no future. And why have critical thinking when you have no future anyways? Why learn to express yourself with pen, paper, and ink when there is no future anyways? Why challenge bad pseudoscience models of doom and gloom when you're going to die anyways? Like, it's just crazy. We've never had the real discussion, and we've never had all we have is propaganda, paid off scientists, blah blah blah. And yeah, the progressive side is, well, yeah, but those other guys, big corporations. Well, Canada is a big corporation, guys. Canada is a big corporation. Maybe it is time. Look, none of us in each province or territory has a constitution of the people. They have some shit in writing that they produce that they don't honor our public servants, the corporate body, actually the corporate soul. I mean, it's not honored anyways. They wrote it up. They can break it. If you write the rules to something, you can break the rules to something. It's like I was watching that guy, his lawyer from Quebec there, or an ex-lawyer or something. He does a whole bunch of stuff, and he was saying, if they toss this kid's case out, the kid that the government, left-wing government fucking media, CNN, okay, discredited this man, lied about this young man. It's going to affect this young man's future, and lied about this native guy who was never a vet, and lied and lied and lied. And so the kid's taken to court. So this lawyer dude, and I forget your name, man. He has a vlog. He wears that T-shirt with his dog and a picture of his dog in the vlog. He said, well, if this doesn't go through court or whatever, I'll eat my shorts, and he had to eat his shorts. And so I'm not a legal person. I am not a legal code decipher. I am not an esteemed bar. I am not, I'm a legal idiot. But I knew that they could easily just screw the kid around within the judiciary because the legal system wrote the rules. Okay, he wasn't in a common law court of record, trial by jury, where the magistrate is independent of the tribunal. He was in a legal proceeding, a statutory proceeding. That right there, if they decide they just don't like the kid, or CNN's got friends, or, you know, lawyers always have deals going, well, I'll throw this guy under the bus, but you got to give me that guy. I mean, that's what happens. That's what happens. You know, and I wish to apologize to lawyers. I'm actually talking about attorneys, because that's who you actually see at court. Attorneys. They turn things. So, yeah, I wasn't surprised about that at all. You know, so same thing here. The legal society makes all these rules. Legal society writes up some kind of, say, the British Columbia Constitution of British Columbia. They don't have to honor it. It's their rules, their writ. Who the hell are you to come into their jurisdiction, their corporate jurisdiction, and tell them how to run things when you're just considered a lowly officer through some kind of personhood. Okay, person, yes? An actor, person, actor. English. So, yeah, I wasn't surprised about that. It's like I told those guys doing the private prosecution, if they bothered to listen. If Trudeau elects somebody, then basically it just goes back to the AG, and then he can turn around and just drop the whole thing. You got to start all over. So there is a twist. There's a twist to everything that the legal society, the corporate body, the corporate soul does, and they try to hide behind their corporate immunity, their crown immunity. And this is why we have to resurrect, and we have to bring to a forefront, you know, and educate people on the court of record, trial by jury, that only falls under the common law, where the magistrate is independent of the tribunal. That's the only safety net we really have, is our peers. You know, and I don't know what they're scared about. I mean, Trudeau can come out. He thinks we're so dumb that Trudeau can come out and blame Canadians for his racist and tell us, well, because we're all racist, that's why he did that. He can blame us for his racism. Okay? Well, if you think we're that dumb, or, you know, CBC and these other bought and paid for state-run propaganda centers, you think we're that dumb that we're buying your crap, then why is the judiciary scared, okay, the judiciary scared to have paperwork, proper paperwork, when a man or a woman goes up to the counter to fill out for a proper fucking trial by jury court of record that only falls under the common law, where the magistrate is independent of the tribunal. And we'll let the people be the judge. It's not whether you broke a law or presume to broke a law. It's whether, say you did, say you were guilty of breaking the law, but you weren't acting as that person. How does the law apply to that man? And say you did break that law, but it was a bad law. How does that apply to a man? And that's why we have to keep the people governing our government. And that's just one step. Writing letters and expressing yourself to your public servant is another way. Anyways, I just couldn't resist after I seen what, you know, that bad actor, the man I address as Justin, out there publicly with no humility, not believing a damn word he said. I'm sure Butts must have wrote it for him to twist it to make you and I look just terrible. And you know what? The world's looking at Trudeau, and the world sees you, Trudeau. You are just terrible. If we vote in Trudeau, I don't care who you vote for. I'm voting for Max. Okay, through my representative here. So, but if we vote Liberal, the world will never take us serious again. Ever. They're already disrespecting us by way of Trudeau.